Tokrat smo se odpravili v evropsko prestolnico Bruselj, kjer smo spremljali premiere kar 5 novih Toyotinih modelov. Predlagam, da se jih kar lotimo po vrsti. Začnimo z modelom, ki ima pravzaprav najmanj novega, ampak je praktično za vsakogar.
Seveda je Corolla Cross en najbolj racionalnih Toyotinih modelov, se pravi vsestranski model, umiren, udoben, nevpadljiv, ampak s prenovo pa je tudi ta model dobil nekaj tistega modernega šarma. Naprimer, te lučke tukaj na maski. Novost sta pa tudi 2 različice, ena je bolj športno navdahnjena, na voljo pa je tudi bolj adventure model, se pravi model za vse tiste, ki greste radi stran od tistih glavnih cest, na tiste razdrapane makadamske ceste.
Vedno se je govorilo, da električni pogon najbolj paše majhnim mestnim avtomobilom in da je pri majhnih mestnih avtomobilih tudi najbolj smiselen. Ampak mali Aygo električnega pogona ni dobil. Razlog je enostaven.
Aygo Cross, avto, ki je izredno popularen med hrvaškimi rentakarji in pa tudi seveda v vseh italijanskih, francoskih, obmorskih letoviščih z ozkimi ulicami. No, ta avtomobil je zdaj s prenovo postal za 7 cm daljši avtomobil. In kje se skriva teh 7 cm? Ja, tukaj na sprednjem delu. Nos je po novem daljši. Zakaj? Zato, ker tukaj spodaj se zdaj skriva hibridizirani motor. Ja, imate prav, Toyota je ob predstavitvi tega Ayga povedala, da ima v svoji paleti dovolj ekoloških avtomobilov, da pravzaprav tega modela ne potrebuje elektrificirati. Why did you now present the hybrid version of the Aygo Cross?
We challenge the engineers. Looking at a clever project in trying to minimize the cost, you could achieve something which remains still relatively accessible. And as soon as we could do it, we did it. It was a challenge, but I think we achieved almost the optimum in that challenge.
Čeprav je električni pogon najbolj smiseln prav v majhnih avtomobilih, pa smiselnost nakupa majhnega elektroavta pod vprašaj pogosto postavlja visoka cena. Kot razumemo, pa so zdaj Toyotini inženirji in menedžerji skupaj našli smiselno razmerje med električno tehnologijo in pa smiselno ceno. A kako daleč pa smo od cenovno smiselnih, popolnoma baterijskih električnih malčkov?
Look at the market of electric cars and look what this car can do in terms of accessibility. Still probably driving 3/4 of the time in electric if you drive properly with no, you'd say, with no pain when it's about recharging, but really with a price point which is still in the earth of the market. Electric for small cars, I'm sorry to say, still have this challenge.
S tretjo novostjo skočimo na povsem električno področje. Model BZ4X je namreč rešil svoje porodne težave. Zdaj je dobil nov zagon in močan ter uporaben pospešek v zadku.
Nikakor se ne bomo strinjali z vami, če boste rekli, da je Toyota BZ4X premalo prostoren avtomobil. Namreč gre za velik avtomobil in tudi za res prostoren. Kabina je zelo prostorna in tudi tukaj zadaj na drugi klopi je za otroke precej prostora. Ampak seveda, če nam zdaj ponudijo karavanski prtljažnik, če nam dajo touring prtljažnik, pa seveda, da se ne bomo pritoževali, če bomo tukaj zadaj imeli samo še več prostora, če bomo imeli samo še več prostora za odlagati, za pospravljati kakšne večje, bolj kockaste predmete in seveda prtljažnik napolnili do skrajnega roba. Ker vendarle klasični BZ4X je zadaj tukaj bolj položno, kupejevsko položno oblikovan avtomobil.
Kot vedno smo tudi tokrat ob predstavitvi klepetali z direktorji in impresivno se nam zdi, kako zelo odprti oziroma odkriti so glede težav, ki so jih imeli z BZ-jem. Ponavadi se nam namreč zelo po PR-ovsko izmikajo, ampak to ni Toyota način. Na dolgi rok se namreč iskreno delovanje obrestuje tudi v poslu. Poslušajmo.
I would say that for us has been also thanks to some bump on the road. It was an enormous source of inspiration for getting better. BZ4X has been for us, how to say, what we call the dojo. And I must say from some difficult situation, this is the strength of Toyota. We always get stronger. And with a bit of right, humble attitude, with a lot of sweat, I would say, we start testing the electric vehicles in extreme conditions. You know, we had some difficulty in the Nordics where the market was very mature, but this allowed us to have, I would say, so much learning in relatively short time. So I really blessed the fact that listening to the real customer voice, we could overcome a lot of issues.
But still, you said at the Kinshiki Forum that you were very successful, especially in the Norway.
Yeah.
How come?
But it's, I would say, the key success there is the strength of what really makes Toyota different from many other competitors, is to look at the customer 360 degrees. Is not just to sell a new car, but making sure to follow the customer through the journey. And I think the Norwegian network, as all the network in Europe and globally, I would say, is something different from the others. So we didn't just hide behind the problem, we reassure our partners, first of all, and more importantly, our customers through our partner, that we will have fixed these issues. And this, in the end, always pays off. Honesty always pays off.
And it also comes with a battery preconditioning function, which can be activated manually or automatically when navigating to a fast charging station.
So the new Touring model is a fixed model.
Absolutely. All the models which are now came to the market are fixed for how much a model can be fixed. To be honest, perfection is a goal rather than a task.
Četrta novost, 8. generacija Lexusa ES stavi na oba konja. Na hibridni in na električni pogon. Predvsem pa cilja na menedžerje.
Lexus ES zagotovo z novo generacijo, no to je že 8. generacija, no in po novem zagotovo ne bo več samo pariški taksi, pa avtomobil, ki ga bodo poznali predvsem na drugi strani Atlantika in pa v Aziji. Gotovo ga čaka bistveno lepša prihodnost tudi tukaj v Evropi. Namreč to je Lexusova električna zastavnoča.
The ES is a model that strengthens the diversification of our brand. And diversification also contributes to our vision to provide mobility for all.
Avtomobil pa notri v kabini nekaj skriva, nekaj modernega, nekaj, kar bodo slej ko prej dobili tudi vsi Lexusi.
The hidden switches. So the aim is to really, let's say, have it for the customer a clean execution, clean technology. This was the aim we wanted to create. So the switches will illuminate themselves when you come in the car. For Europe, it's a bit different from China. In Europe, they remain illuminated, whereas in China, once the car is switched on, they kind of hide or conceal themselves, and when you hover, with your hand close to the dashboard, they will reveal themselves so that you can operate them. Based on customer feedback, we will consider whether we want to bring China version or we keep it. So
It is possible in Europe to have that kind of...
yes, it is not regulation, no. Yes, when you touch it, you will feel that there is a, let's say, feedback to you that okay, I press this button and this is happening. So there is an operation feeling that you will get.
Najpomembnejša novost pa je novi RAV4. Avto, za katerega velja, da ima izjemno lojalne kupce. Kupili so prvega in nato vsako naslednjo generacijo. No in verjamem, da imamo tudi v Sloveniji takšne kupce. In če nas zdaj gledate, naj vas rešim čakanja. Takoj videti vaš naslednji avto.
Ta vroča, rdeča barva je seveda značilna za posebno športno varianto nove generacije Toyota RAV4. No seveda pa je RAV4 na voljo tudi v bolj običajni, recimo bolj pustolovski varianti. In ja, kot narekujejo današnji trendi, ima tudi priključni hibrid v Toyoti RAV4 za svojo električno avtonomijo na razpolago dobrih 20 kWh veliko baterijo. In to omogoča 100 km električne vožnje vsakodnevno. Ampak Toyota ima zaradi svojih dolgoletnih izkušenj s hibridi eno konkurenčno prednost.
if you are not fit for purpose in a way, and you are like an athlete that use a bit of doping, after the doping, basically your performance goes down. We are fit for purpose. We perform in EV, but after that, we don't just run in internal combustion engine, but we really switch in a pure hybrid mode. This is something quite unique, which makes the overall efficiency much better than most of the competitors.
Pa naj bojo ti Toyotini hibridi še tako zelo kompetentni, pa vendarle priključni hibrid ni za vsakogar. In pri Toyoti ponujajo pomoč pri ugotovitvi, ali ste primerni za priključni hibrid, ali so vaše mobilnostne navade primerne za takšne sorte avtomobil. Pomagajo pa s pomočjo posebnega zavarovanja za ta avtomobil.
We have developed a lot of system to be honest with our customer. We don't have to push one technology. This is the beauty of multipath. So if you want to run every day 400, 500 kilometers, frankly speaking, it's probably not the right solution. You have to be sure that you recharge to take the best for you. So how we educate? For instance, we encourage, and with our insurance, we say, if you drive more in EV, we can lower your insurance rate. I have anecdotally people that I know, and I told them, don't take the plug-in hybrid if you don't drive almost every day. Now, by learning that, they are super happy because they recharge even with a Schuko home, 230 volt. They do it, the bill is very limited, and for the 70 kilometers they do every day is more than enough. So in the end, we are driven by the fact that the customer should use for best the technology, and also our network has to go into this direction of to be more an advisor for the customer. And this is where I think ultimately, if I go back to your previous question, is where we deliver more, maybe much more than any other competitor.
So that is the way towards pay per kilometer.
I think that's, for me, pay per kilometer goes a bit too far because in reality we have an underlying cost of the vehicle. We have to be honest with us. But it's about that philosophy. But in here, the trigger is different. The trigger is make sure that you use that technology in the right way, and I want to encourage you, instead of saying you have to do it, there are other ways to do it. There are ways in which you can fundamentally use your fleet. If you are a company, if you use the car as a company as a benefit, you can encourage your people to say, you know what, you should use every day. So I give you limited fuel, but your electricity is for free, for instance. So you have to drive every day. These are many ways. And I think as an OEM, we have a paramount role into that. And now we are happy that sometimes our driver, when is the case that are well educated, they really maximize the experience. And in the end, they start to be a benefit because they're happy.
When can we expect that kind of insurance, for example, in Slovenia? How far are you with this testing?
I mean, I have to push my Slovenian colleagues and so on, but I mean, Italy is very close to Slovenia, right? So we have to bring the Italians in to explain how to work.
No, Andrea Carlucci pravi, da hibridi niso za vsakogar. Mi pa tukaj dodajamo, da vas napačna odločitev ne bo prav zares tepla. Poglejmo na primeru avtomobila, ki že prav nestrpno čaka tam v ozadju.